One important piece of California's climate future is really just how precipitation will come and how much of it. Now it's coming in more intense, flashier events where more water is moving across the landscape at once. Cover crops help get that water into the ground more quickly and more effectively. But there are a few big barriers preventing the widespread adoption of the practice of cover cropping. One of them is this complex regulatory environment. Another is the farm level economics. And the third and really big one is the current restrictions around water supply.
I'm a fourth generation farmer here in Merced County, and I just question the systems that are currently set up. You know, we're told that we need to have bare ground, that we need a certain amount of water, but that's based on the mentality that we have unlimited resources. And as we all know, our resources are getting more and more limited. We're really trying to build resilient orchards. And as an example, last year, we used under 30 inches of water on average for our farm, whereas our neighbors used about 48 inches. We think a big component to why we were able to use less water was because of all the ground cover and the cover crops that we have here on our farm. So if we can use cover crops as a tool and observe in our orchards what they actually need versus just looking at a calculator and what it tells us what we need, I think we're going to go a long way.
At Sustainable Conservation, our soils program is working to develop and scale solutions that help capture water. As SGMA regulations were ratcheting up, there was more and more concern about how this regulation would affect cover cropping specifically, because if I use cover crops, maybe that will increase my water use. And so our organization, along with many others, helped gather a convening of over 100 research experts, of policymakers, of growers, of technical assistance providers to better understand the science around cover crops, their water use, their water benefits. And taking that forward, we published a report as a group that showed that infiltration increases a lot. 40% is a conservative estimate of how much more water from rain will go down into the soil. On the other side of that coin, a 40% reduction in runoff. Big picture, soil does a lot of different things and it has benefits ecologically speaking, human health-wise. And in California, it's a key to our sustainable future.
In a typical conventional farm, you're going to see all bare ground. And what we've done here is we've invited nature in to be a part of this. So we keep our ground covered. We decided to go ahead and venture into this avenue to help cut our cost of production, and then all of the other benefits that we saw that came along with this practice is really the reason why we kept doing it. It reduces the soil temperature, reduces our evaporative loss, better water infiltration, reduction in pesticides, fungicides, and it keeps the stress off of the trees. By simply observing, monitoring, watching, and allowing nature to do what it's supposed to do, we're able to reduce a significant amount of cost without sacrificing our yields and quality. And by keeping this ground covered, I've never lost moisture in my field, never. The importance of keeping this covered, I just can't say it enough. It's huge.
On the Central Coast, the challenge isn't just about how much water we have, but it's also about how clean that water is. And one of those main drivers is nitrate contamination in groundwater. Currently, in our agricultural production, we rely on a lot of nitrogen to grow the crops needed. And then when the winter comes, when we have our winter rains, that nitrogen will get pushed down in the form of nitrate into the groundwater. So while nitrogen, in its most available form to plants, nitrate is critical for plant development and growth, when it gets into water, it is toxic for humans. While it's crucial to grow all of this produce for the rest of the nation, we also need to address the issues on the Central Coast of water quality so that the communities there have access to clean drinking water. And one of the ways we can do that is through integrating cover crops into our rotation. Their roots pull up excess nitrate and prevent it from leaching into the groundwater. And those same roots also hold on to the topsoil, preventing it from eroding into surface water. Farmers want to be a part of the solution, but they need the right information, support, and incentives to be able to make soil health a priority on their farm. And that is why Sustainable Conservation's Solutions in Our Soils program is addressing the regulatory, informational, and logistical barriers to cover crops.